Oh, there you go. Oh, I had audio on TikTok. I had audio on TikTok, just not on YouTube. Check. I was saying, yeah, I'll say go Colts because I'm a Giants fan and I still like Daniel Jones. But I was saying, I think he's a good QB, but he always folds under pressure. So until I see him go on a deep playoff run, I don't think he's going to win anything. All right. What's going on, guys? Gemini, what's poppin'? Yeah, we're going to go over all this in a second, guys. Just start it. Daniel Jones has one good playoff performance. And, of course, it was against the Vikings. Yeah. Seattle snow. We'll see. I think it's still going to be up in the mountains. Okay, we're going to start. Give me 2 seconds, guys, and then we're going to get started here, okay? Give me 2 seconds, and we're going to get started here. Let me run and grab something. All right. What's going on, guys? What's going on? Let's go over all the updates. And then I'll take all of your questions. What's a treasure box? What's a treasure box? You have one treasure box for your current live. What does that mean? 20 people can collect the coins. What? TikTok Live Fest? What is this, guys? What's my screen telling me? What the heck? How do I get rid of this? Hold up, guys. Weird. Okay. All right, we're going to start. I'm going to give you the updates, and I'm going to take your questions. As we normally do. All right. Update for us in Chicago. Looks pretty good over the next couple weeks. You'll have a chance here. Here's the European ensemble. Here's our operational run. I actually think we're going to get a little bit more snow than this says down here. Some interesting... Minneapolis. Anyone in Minneapolis here? I'll show you this real quick just to start off. Show you this real quick just to start off. My Minneapolis, Minnesota, or just my, not Minneapolis, just Minnesota people in general. NAM 3K does see a decent snowstorm. You could end up with an inch to 8 inches, depending on how quickly this turns to snow. It's going to be rain on the front end, but Tuesday. This is Tuesday, like 2 days from now. So there you go. Here's what the NAM thinks, snow-wise. It's a short range, so Minneapolis Metro, we're talking, 2 to 3 inches. Could be more, could be less. Again, it's hard to tell because we're going to have a warm face out front trying to push some warm air into the mid-latitudes here. Mid-latitudes. Into the mid-layer of the atmosphere there. So it's hard to tell how much, this is really hard to tell how much snow is going to fall here because it's hard to tell what the ratio is going to be. Anyways, let's just go over... let's take a look at, let's do this first. Let's take a look at the NAM, or not the NAM. Let's take a look at our Euro. Quick little forecast here. Let's go into 00Z from last night. Go over all this and I'll take your questions. Here we go. Some cold air, mixture of snow and rain moving into New England. Today, we've got this shortwave trough ejecting off into the southern plains. This is going to give us a severe weather chance down here, including a tornado chance in Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana on Monday. Tomorrow. Here's where our big pattern change starts to take place. You can see here as we get into the 24th, our polar jet's going to start to buckle up to the northwest, bringing in a lot of rain and snow into the northwest. Still, high elevation snow into the northwest and Pacific Northwest, low elevation rain. We get into the 25th. Again, severe weather's pushing across southern plains, and then eventually it's going to push across Dixie Alley up towards the mid-Atlantic and Ohio Valley. Get to the 25th. Here we go. This is Tuesday night. We've got this moisture linking up with our kind of somewhat amplified trough digging down here, and we could get a little bit of a low-pressure system pulling in cold air and snow into the back end of the system, putting some snow into Minneapolis, North Dakota, and then eventually central to northern Wisconsin. We get into Thanksgiving, and look at this. Tons of cold air for everyone. This is very below average for most people out here. Very below average air. You have this very cold air running over the Great Lakes, so Erie, Buffalo, everyone, you guys up here, along western upstate New York, even probably from Cleveland all the way up through Buffalo, up through kind of, what's our little area up there that I always forget the name of? Watertown, New York. Probably going to get some good lake effect snow. Western Michigan's going to get some good lake effect snow from this as well. Wednesday and Thursday, likely. Originally, this snow is going to start off moving down into the southeast because we have a northwesterly flow. Then it's going to transfer more westerly, so you're going to see it transfer a little bit more east. Joseph, I appreciate the sub. Maybe I should put that somewhere that's not blocking everything. Here, let me do this. Okay. So yeah. So that's what's happening there. A couple days after Thanksgiving, the 28th, 29th, our polar jet begins to collapse. We get a lot of moisture pushing up against our polar jet. The Euro thinks potentially some good snow for Minneapolis, Chicago, Detroit, maybe Indianapolis, maybe Columbus, Ohio, maybe this. And this is going to punch out more lake effect snow out east. You get into the November 30th and the 1st of December, and then here's where a mess starts. Big amplified trough down here. We could have snow into the plains of Colorado, low elevation of New Mexico. Ice storm tries to form down here. Severe weather to the south. Big snow to the north. This is a big mess December 1st that a couple of the models are picking up on right now. Ice. Dun, 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 dun. But a ton of snow for Chicago if this were to happen. Snow. It could end up being ice. It just all depends on where this jet lines up, right? If it's like here, that's going to be ice and rain. If it's here, it's going to be all snow for Chicago. And then moving a little bit farther ahead, cold air kind of continues. If you want to see what the GFS sees here, kind of agrees up through here. GFS actually puts even more snow down into Minneapolis Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. Cold air. Lots of lake effect snow for Thanksgiving out here. Push past Thanksgiving on the latest GFS. Big snowstorm again, Minneapolis, Des Moines, Chicago, Indianapolis, Columbus, Ohio, potentially right there. That's on the GFS. And then watch what happens on the GFS here. Huge. This again would be probably severe rain, ice, snow. Big December 1st, December 2nd winter storm setup. And then you got a tropical storm moving in, or a hurricane moving into the Gulf, making landfall in Florida. Don't pay attention to that. Again, we need to wait for some confirmation. I don't know. We don't know if this is going to... The TCG, Tropical Cyclogenesis, is still like 200 hours out. So wait on that. But I will say, if you're in Minnesota and you want snow, you just start rooting for the GFS. Because the GFS is doing wild stuff out here in Minnesota, guys. That's what the GFS thinks for Minnesota through the first week of December. Can you guys read what the GFS thinks? How much snow the GFS thinks falls in Minneapolis through the first week of December? Can you guys read what that says? 45 inches of snow. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get 45 inches of snow into Minneapolis. I think it's possible because we're going to have such an active pattern through the Midwest. I think it's going to be more like a foot of snow through the first week of December. But I'd say this is not impossible, but it's very improbable. Very improbable. But yeah, this is the American model. The American model is just punching. I mean, the American model has 30 inches of snow, has 30 inches through the second. This is because this would actually be the second at night. So the American model has over the next 10 days puts 30 inches of snow into Minneapolis just over the next 10 days. We're not even talking about La La Land 10 to 14. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's being too aggressive, guys. But I just thought it was funny. I'd point that out to you. And I've been saying the upper Midwest in the plains looks aggressive with snow, so we're still kind of seeing that confirmation on the GFS. How much will it snow in Iowa? Iowa has a bunch of good chances right here. Well, Iowa's going to get snow here over the next 2 weeks. Very likely. It's very unlikely you don't see some good snow across the state of Iowa over the next 2 weeks. So if you're looking for snow in Iowa, I think the chances are pretty high. National Blended models, something good to look at. It combines all the models together. The National Blended models, like I said, I'm going to get to your questions in a second, guys. I'm just going over this first, and then I'm going to answer all your questions. I like looking at the National Blended models because it always underestimates how much snow you're going to get because it has to take into account models that show no snow. So you see like Minneapolis 5 inches, Chicago 3 inches, Indianapolis maybe an inch, stuff like this. You probably put to push those up 4 to 6 inches because it's taken so where it sees a really aggressive snow here is obviously in this region. And then again, for people out east who want your nor'easter chances, who want your southeastern snow, that we haven't lost that. Originally, it looked like that might be a first week of December thing. It's looking more like a second and third week of December thing because we have a negative NAO setting up here for mid-December, which is going to push these snow chances out. It's going to shove them off to the east. So, and we'll be seeing more clippers out here instead of big snowstorms. So east, you're still in this. You got pushed back like 5 to 6 days. Really quickly, before I get to everyone, I just want to show a couple more things. Before I get to questions, a couple more things. Temperature anomalies, just so you guys can see. Here is Thanksgiving evening. So everyone out here still looking 5 to 20 degrees below average. So cold Thanksgiving. That's why we're going to get some lake effect snow too. And then moving ahead a little bit on the European, you get after Thanksgiving, you get a kind of a warm up out east around November 29th, 30th. This is when we're going to be watching out for severe weather, ice and snow. Big temperature gradient out there in the plains through Dixie Alley. But this cold air is going to try to shove that out and again, make it cold really from coast to coast. Southeastern ridge is going to try to keep it cold or warm down in Georgia, maybe southern Alabama, in Florida, but cold air. Obviously, really, really looking cold. I mean, we can take a look at we looked at this yesterday, but I'll show it real quickly. I'm trying to get through this quickly so I can answer your questions. But again, NOAA is seeing, I'm not going to switch screens. I know you can't really, there. NOAA's seeing, this is basically this is almost up to Christmas, just to like December 19th, but average to below average temperatures almost for the whole month of December there. I think this is actually going to be at least average or below average in Texas. I think it's not taking into account how much a lot of times these outlooks don't take into account how this cold air digs into the southern plains like Texas this time of year when you get these big breaks, Arctic outbreaks. So that being said, our teleconnections look really good for everyone who want to see a lot of snow and cold through December. Our European weeklies still look really good. I'm speeding through this stuff so I can answer your questions. European weeklies still look fantastic, especially for your chances out east for some snow in December. Here we go. We get into the second week of December, and we're going to have this troughing pattern switch from here kind of to out here, giving you a chance for winter storms out east. Look at this. Boom, 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 boom. Not only that, but if we take a look at the northern hemisphere, what's happening while we have this troughing out east is we actually have some little bit of ridging right up here. Troughing, ridging. So that's a little bit of an NAO block too. Not a super strong NAO block, but it's there. You got a little bit of an NAO block. So this is really nice for December, for really nice storm track potential for the mid-Atlantic and New England coastal regions in Ohio Valley, potentially even the southeast as we move through mid to late December. So that looks good. Anyways, let's get into this, guys. Let's get into this. Here, let me pull something up before I start. Let's go to the United States. I think we're going to get a blend of the Euro and GFS. I actually think it's going to be more aggressive than the Euro. I think it's... Oh, the 12Z of the GFS is coming out, guys. I don't think we're going to see this much snow here like the GFS, but I think the Euro is underestimating the amount of snow we're going to see here. So, when could it snow in Boston? It could snow in Boston in the next 2 weeks. You're going to have an opportunity, but I think it's more into the second week of December. Blue, good to see you. I feel like it's been a while. SGT, what's going on? I appreciate you. And appreciate you, Blue. Thank you. SGT, I appreciate that. Sophia, what's going on? I appreciate that. Gemini. Mrs. Bryant. Blue Morgan, everyone, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for being in here. The GFS does the Lord's work sometimes. Other times it's cheeks. I mean, yeah, the GFS saw the opportunity for snow into Minneapolis like 10 days ago, and all the other models had that snow way to the north. And it looks like that some snow is going to pull into Minneapolis. So, again, the GFS sometimes gets it right over the Euro. It's gotten better. They've changed the algorithm of the GFS over the last 2 years. Works a little bit better. When can we see snow in Long Island? I would say, again, your odds go way up as we push into the second week of December. Same with North Carolina. It's going to be tough before that. Is there snow in Maryland anytime soon? Same with you guys. You're in the mid-Atlantic. Odds go up second week of December. Cincinnati, you could have one of these storms shift a little bit south and put some snow through the Ohio Valley here. It's very possible. Very possible. The European AI actually likes snow a little bit farther south through the Ohio Valley. Snow in Lubbock, Texas. I mean, look at this. Pretty close, right? Where's Lubbock? That seems pretty close to Lubbock. Euro, GFS, they all show some snow into the northern, I think Lubbock's actually a little bit farther to the south, like here, though. But they all show some snow into the Texas Peninsula over the next couple weeks here, even though you don't want to really trust the end of the run. Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota looks crazy, but I don't think it's going to be as crazy as the GFS thinks. But, it does look pretty crazy. It does. You still have a chance in Dallas. I mean, you're going to get below freezing air down here. You just need your kind of moisture to lock in with it. But again, guys, we're talking about a very cold and snowy December for really from coast to coast. Some people are going to see it in early December, some in mid, some in late December. We've got the earliest sudden stratospheric warming event in recorded history since we get in the satellite era since the 1960s. So we have the opportunity for tons of record cold temperatures throughout the month of December. And that's what you need in a lot of these southern places to try to get snow early in December. So your odds are up a little bit. Isn't the 12Z... Wait, what was that? Emmanuel with the $5 super chat. Oh my gosh. Emmanuel, I appreciate you. Isn't the 12Z dropping now? It is. It is. It is. Yeah, the 12Z is dropping now. We need to wait a little bit, though. Yep. 12Z is loading. We don't have that much loaded yet, so we're going to hold up on that a little bit. How much snow for Iowa? It depends. GFS sees more snow in Iowa, I think, than the European does. Let's go to the 0Z of the European. They both see good snow for Iowa, but a lot of that snow for Iowa is more like 150 plus hours out. So this snow for the upper Midwest and potentially Minneapolis is closer. Really interested to see. The Euro's gone back and forth with Minnesota here. Still shows snow for Minneapolis, but it's brought its totals down to Minneapolis Metro now an inch or two. But most of the other models still... this is just over the next like 3 days. A few inches in Minneapolis, but a lot of these other models show a little bit more. It's going to be close, but again, it shows a lot more snow down the road for us. Do you see tomorrow having more of a discrete... Yeah, we can talk about the severe weather real quick. Do I see it having more of a discrete or linear mode for severe weather? Is it a toss-up? Well, let's take a look. Josh with the $5 super chat. I appreciate you. Any snow for northern Georgia this year? I feel like we are always on the line. I'm ready to move north. Yeah, I'll get to that in a second. Let me cover the severe weather, and then I'll jump right into that. I appreciate the super chat, Josh. Seriously, thank you. Let's do this. All right, let's move this over. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look at a couple of our different models. We can look at the 14Z now. Take a look at the HER model. And all right, let's head down to the south. Actually, we're for tomorrow, so we need to go to the 12Z. Here we go. Definitely looking. I mean, it's on the HRRR. It's looking pretty linear, but it's not like a nice squall line. It's a pretty broken squall line. So it starts off. You can see it starts off in this kind of linear, or sorry, it starts off with this kind of in a discrete mode, and then this is typical in a discrete mode, and then as you get that kind of boundary forming out ahead of it, that kind of opposite air boundary forming out ahead of it, it turns into kind of a mini MCS. So yeah, that's likely. It's going to be your typical discrete into linear, into kind of MCS, into a wind threat as we push throughout the night, or as we push throughout the day. This looks more like a wind threat heading into Dallas, not as much as a tornado threat. But again, you watch back here and you watch these storms starting to dig up from the south. as we get into Monday afternoon, this could be an issue. You could get spin ups out ahead of this kind of linear setup to out to the west. Let's take a look at the Rufus really quickly. 12Z. Again, a little bit of a discrete setup early in the day. You get some supercell activity potential out here, including, I know someone was talking about Lubbock. Lubbock, it looks like it's going to be south of you, but we got to watch that. You get a nice kind of squall line here. Some nice supercells showing up here on the Rufus. This is actually late Sunday night. And we get into Monday morning. You get a lot of moisture. This would actually help Dallas-Fort Worth because rain, cooled air before you get a second push of storms right here. This is interesting. It looks like we have it looks like our 850 millibar jet, it really kicks in right here tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. So this could be a little bit dangerous for tornadoes right out here on the east in eastern Texas. Yeah, I'm gonna get to Georgia snow in a second. Let me actually just take a look. I have a feeling we're gonna have a nice 850 millibar jet streak right there. Let's see as we get out through. Let's see if it kicks in here. Right there. I mean, it's not really. You do see right here. You do see this kind of secondary flow starting to push in right here. Here's our surface low. Here's our winds with it. Then you get a secondary flow starting to kick in here and enhance that shear. And then you see, boom, right there. Start to get some pretty intense shear. It's actually pushing out to the west or out to the east a little bit more now, though. If you take a look at the SBC, day 1, severe threat. Let's go into tornado. Yep, they just put that there just to the south of Lubbock. I think this is Lubbock. Just to the south of Lubbock, 2%. Lubbock, pay attention, though. That could be up there. You go into our day 2 tornado, and they push it out east? A little bit. 2 to 5% just to the southeast of Dallas-Fort Worth, northern Louisiana, southern Arkansas. So let's pay attention over the next couple days. We got some tornado threats down there in the southern plains pushing out towards Dixie Alley. All right, getting back into talking about Georgia. Well, listen. Here's what I'm going to say about Georgia's snow chances. We're talking about, North Georgia, not bad. Okay. Right now, our setup is not for the southeast. We have a little bit of a southeastern ridge holding. Probably going to hold just to the southeast of northern Georgia. But again, our pattern calls for a little bit more heat down here to the southeast, and our winter storm track through here. Now, as we get into the second week, if we were to look out here, as we get into the second week, let's go into the weeklies, and let's look at our heights. Here's the first week of December. You're not going to get a winter storm down here through Georgia with this type of setup, if this holds. But pushing into the second week of December, now suddenly, okay, well, maybe we have a chance here pushing into the second week. This blocking tries to fade out. We could get a nice trough up through here. You could get some snow down in the southeast if you're lucky. Maybe a little warm up mid-December, and then watch what happens out here. This is not bad. I mean, this is not bad mid-December through the end of December, because you're favoring, this is starting to look like a positive PNA and a negative NAO setup where you could get something digging and pulling. Pulling Gulf moisture, digging that cold air down from Canada, from the Arctic. So again, middle to the end of December looks, you could get a big shot of cold air that pulls Gulf moisture off, and you could get some snow into northern Georgia. It's possible. It's not like our southeastern ridge isn't going to be. Our southeastern ridge isn't projected to sit there through December, just to the beginning of December. Then it's projected to kind of move out a little bit, or at least move south, really just holding over Florida, which will give you an opportunity. So again, La Nina years. Let's be honest. La Nina years are typically drier in Georgia. They're typically drier and warmer. Doesn't mean you can't get snow down there. We had a neutral. We were in a neutral last year. We got a foot of snow down here. Not typical. And by the way, next year's an El Nino. So next year you actually have higher snow chances down in the southeast. But again, we have the earliest sudden stratospheric warming event in the satellite era since the 1960s. That's going to displace much colder air than there should be down there, down here into portions of the southeast later in December, mid-December. So you'll have an opportunity. You just need it. You need your moisture and cold air to be timed up right. All right. Let me go back here to our Euro, United States. Do you think the suburbs of Philly will get snow or something? You'll have your opportunity will, like I just said, will get better along the East Coast, southeast and East Coast. Your opportunity gets much better as we get to the second week of December. Much, much, much better. Much better. This is our latest GFS loading here. I actually want to see what this is doing. I'm going to continue to take questions, guys. 1 second. Here's our latest GFS loading. Is this pulling this farther to the south than our 00Z? Let me check this out. Or 6Z. Let me check this out real quick. There's our 6Z. 12. Oh, 12Z. Okay, it's a little farther to the south. It is. Okay, let's look at our 00Z. Oh, wow. All right, so this winter storm's trending a little bit south. That's good for people who want snow in Minneapolis. So you're saying there's a chance? Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, snow in Georgia in December is tough in general. You typically you see your snow in Georgia, the Carolinas, Tennessee. You typically you see your snow in January and February. This does give us an opportunity for December snow down here, just because we have that kind of polar vortex break. Hello, are you gonna come say hi? You gonna come say hi?
Hi, Stream.
Hi, Stream. Hi. Can you wave to them? Stop picking your nose.
I say hi.
Stop picking your nose. Can you wave?
Hi, Stream.
Okay, now go pick your nose out there and close the door. I'll be out there soon, okay?
Okay, let's go get it.
Yo, what's going on, Emmanuel? My brother's going to South Carolina. I'm worried about the weather. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be locked in my home on Thanksgiving. I mean, the weather in the Southeast shouldn't be too bad on Thanksgiving. We're going to have some issues up here through the northern tier states. New York City first snow. I predict like December 19th. There it is. There's my prediction. Clip it. Thumbelina. Appreciate you. Kay. Appreciate you. Monica, what's going on? Northeast. Plains of Colorado. Yeah, I mean, this is only 8 days out on the GFS. The European sees it about 7 days out, too. Gives you a good chance. But again, our polar jet's going to be lining up something like this. And if it's a little bit too far to the north, you could end up with ice in Colorado, in the lowlands of Colorado. So in the lowlands and the plains. So we'll have to see how that sets up. Is central Minnesota going to get a lot of snow? I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Over the next 2 weeks, we got a lot of good chances here. It's a good setup for the upper Midwest and the plains. Central to northern plains. Do I do this full time yet? Nope. I'm working towards that goal. Working towards it. Tulsa snow. Well, again, this is what we expect early December. A snow pattern through here. And then we expect, as we get into mid to late December, this transfers out to the east. Our southeastern ridge begins to move out, and we get a negative NAO set up, allowing for that cold air to be trapped out east. So somewhere in there, we're gonna get a few opportunities for snow through this region as our snow probabilities push out to the east. Will there be any snow in PA? There's already snow in PA, but it's in we've already gotten snow in the Erie, right? Yeah. PA will have its chances. I mean, they're gonna get snow up in the northwest here in a few days, but yeah, you guys will have plenty of chances here in December. What's going on, Confusebomb? Emmanuel, you do not have to keep super chatting, but I really appreciate it. Emmanuel, $5 super chat. I am the GFS. I caved to my wife. We're putting up the tree now. Nice. Emmanuel, I appreciate you. Confused Blonde, what's going on? I appreciate you. Super confused Blonde. PA always gets snow. Yeah. You have the voice and voice flow for it. Appreciate it. Is it going to snow in Lake Tahoe? Well, look at this. Well, I mean, this is a little bit far out, so we'll see. The end of the Euro run slams a big storm system into the West Coast, dumping snow into the Sierra Nevadas and Cascades. A little bit far out, though, so we'll probably want to wait on that. But there's a big opportunity there in early December for big snow into Lake Tahoe. Is Colorado finally getting snow? Yeah. Yeah. Could have a lot of snow over the next. Could have a lot of snow through the next maybe 7 days. Go to New York City. Going to New York City for Christmas. Any chance for snow? Yeah, we have the current projection for mid to late December is pretty cold out east, with potentially an active winter storm track for the East Coast. So if that holds, your chances for some good snow out in New York City around Christmas is actually not too bad. What's with the ridging out east? A lot of times that's what happens. If you're cold coast to coast, there's a ridge somewhere down here. There's got to be something. It's just what's happening. You get this big collapse of energy into here, and you have a high pressure down here that's going to try to hold somewhere down here over the plains, over the southwest, over the east, because there's just so much energy being compressed down towards the equator. You're not just going to have massive troughing everywhere. You're going to get something in between that tries to ridge up, and that ridge looks like it's going to be in the southeast like this. What?
Live right now?
Yeah.
No.
Correct. You want to come say hi?
What's going on, stream?
Do we look alike? That's my older brother.
Just a little bit. No, I'm your younger brother.
Oh, wait, that's my younger brother. I'm one of 6.
Oh, hey, we got a Let's Go Giants.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go Giants.
Super Bowl winners next year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, oh, yeah.
Super Bowl champs next year.
Yeah, I put $1,000 on Giants winning the Super Bowl next year.
Panthers, 3-peat. Florida Panthers.
Panthers are going to win this year for sure, too. Later. Josh, welcome to the Climate Crew. I appreciate you becoming a member. Josh, you're awesome. Seriously, I appreciate that. Not the stash, though. He's a bartender and a hockey player. He likes his stash. Omaha snow. You have some pretty good chances here. You got the GFS liking snow through Omaha. You got the Euro, if we push out here, liking our chances for Omaha snow through late November, early December. Let me close the door because they decided to leave it open. Omaha is not a bad place to be over the next 7 to 10 days if you want snow. I'll tell you that. Hopefully it doesn't end up being ice because, again, it really depends how your jet sets up here. Is it going to be ice or snow? I do want to get a little bit nerdy here and look at what's going on with our stratospheric polar vortex winds and stuff like that. Latest MJO forecast. I'll answer a few more questions and we're going to nerd out a little bit more just to do some climatology for our long range. Chicago, again, you have your opportunities here. If you are in one of these cities here, guys, I'm just going to circle. If you're in this area, you could end up with snow. You could end up with ice. You could end up with severe weather. This is the battleground. When you have a polar jet on all of our models that's projected to line up like this, or like this, you're going to be a toss-up in this area. You're going to be a toss-up in this area. Little shifts is going to change everything. Bro, the stash is sick. I like the stash, right? I think he has a good stash. I'll take ice. What's up, Connor? When I get my money up, the membership will be coming. I appreciate you, Sage. Don't worry about it. How much snow do you think Fort Wayne, Indiana will see this year? Man, you're asking some specifics, huh? I think you guys at least I think you guys see average snow at a minimum. Average snow at a minimum. Weak La Niñas. Like some colder air and some snowier conditions up to the north. I think chance for good snow's pretty decent through here. Please tell me snow in Central Texas. Not in the short term. Hey, maybe mid to late December when one of these big troughs tries to come down and swoop up the East Coast. It gives you a little tiny bit of snow along that. We'll see. Is the pink big snow? Yeah, the pink's like over a foot. How's St. Louis looking? St. Louis has some opportunities here. There's the Euro. Here's the GFS. The GFS shifted more snow over Minneapolis. Here's the GFS, putting really borderline snow into St. Louis. So we'll see here again. If our jet amplifies a tiny bit more, you could end up seeing snow through this region here. We're talking about Kentucky, West Virginia, Northern Arkansas, Tulsa, Oklahoma City. If we see this amplify a little bit, all the snow is going to be shoved a tiny bit south. So, all right, let me take a look at the latest GFS here, and then we're gonna nerd out for a second, and I'm gonna continue to answer questions. Let me go to the 12Z. I'm being selfish here. All right, there's the latest GFS for our Tuesday night into Wednesday morning snow for Minneapolis. Pushed it up a little bit. You got kind of 4, 2.5, 2 to 4 inches. 2 to 4 inches from the latest GFS, I'd say. Well, really, I'd say 2 to 3 is what it's showing, but we'll see. It all depends when the rain. It all depends when the rain turns into snow. Here you go. Rain. You got a warm face here pushing in, but then as the temperatures drop, it's all snow on the back end. It's going to snow heavy for a brief period of time. How heavy is that snow? What's the snow ratio? I think the snow ratio will be pretty good. But this is going to be heavy, but it's going to be quick. It's going to be quick. Tuesday night to Wednesday morning. Really quickly, guys, let's go over teleconnections and some other things, and I'm going to get back to answering some questions. Teleconnections. But this is going to help. This is, for any of you who are interested about winter storms, this is going to be, teleconnections tell us a lot about where we could see snow. So pretty relevant stuff here. I don't have a headache. Okay. So Arctic oscillation. Again, neutral to negative all the way out through Christmas. You'll love to see it. You'll love to see the control doing that. The mean's neutral. Okay. I think this is going to be much farther negative than what this is showing, but that's fine. Eastern Pacific oscillation. Do we have a big Alaskan ridge allowing cold air to continue to funnel down to the south? Pretty much negative, except for right here from, Thanksgiving all the way through Christmas. Pretty good sign here if you want a colder December from coast to coast. Simple. Negative NAO. Where's my Philly, New York City, Baltimore, Boston people, everyone up and down the East Coast, even if you want a chance for snow through Atlanta, Charlotte, all right, down in the southeast, everyone up that's southeastern, eastern seaboard, you're gonna want your NAO to be negative or neutral. Listen, you can get big snow down there with a positive NAO, but it's less likely because your cold air doesn't hold in place as long, so it's more difficult. You get more opportunities with the negative NAO. December 4th through December 28th. It thinks we could have a nice negative NAO setup. This is what I'm talking about as we get into mid-December, late December. Your chances for snow out east kind of start to go up a decent amount. All right, here's our PNA. I mean, pretty negative all the way out through potentially Christmas. This is why NOAA doesn't just show cold for the east and the plains. It also shows cold for the west. That's because we don't have a ridge out west. Negative PNA. Cold from coast to coast. Interesting. WPO, big one. We're pretty much negative the entire time, except for a brief warm up here around the 8th to the 14th of December on the European weeklies. Not even the 8th to about the 8th to the 14th, but pretty negative. High latitude blocking. This allows for cold air from coast to coast too. It's a very cold trend for a lot of people. Doesn't mean you're not going to get you're going to get brief warm ups in December, guys. In the mid latitudes, you're going to get brief warm ups, but they're going to be replaced by cold pretty quickly. At least that's what our teleconnections are telling us. MJO forecast. Oh man, it still looks really nice for the east leading into Christmas, guys. If this continues, let's take a look at the latest. This looks so good for the east moving into Christmas, guys. This looks so good. If you're in the east, this looks so good for the east. New York City. Again, Boston. This is good from Atlanta up to Boston. I mean, punching into a pretty decently amplified MJO Phase 8 around the 18th of December, 7 days before Christmas. This is cold and snowy. This is going to be very cold and snowy for the east. This phase, these two phases in particular. Sometimes even this phase here. So this is like a fantastic. It's really looking nice, at least there. And look at the Euro, the short range Euro. We're talking about December 5th. It's still probably seeing December 10th. We're moving into Phase 8. This is really nice for the east. So that's good news for you guys. Do we have anything showing it super amplified? Yeah, I mean, this is This is pretty amplified here. That's pretty crazy too. Some of these, I mean, they're all, look at the CFS. Oh my gosh, this would be so good for eastern cold and eastern snow chances around Christmas. It's looking pretty good all the way around. Look at this, guys. This is looking real nice here for the east. Let's yeah, I mean, they all look good. They all look good. Look at this. They all look good. Crazy. Anyway, so that's what's going on with that. Oh, one more thing I want to look at is let's look at what's going on with our polar vortex winds, stratospheric, our Arctic stratospheric winds. Here we go. Okay, you have the models as an average projecting that our winds will completely stop and potentially will have a reversal of the winds, complete reversal. This is major. Again, you go back a week and a half, you go back 10 days, our winds were up here. We are now experiencing the earliest ever recorded sudden stratospheric warming event on human record in the satellite era. There was one that was projected. There was two in the 50s that happened in November, but it was actually even later. It was right at the end of November. This would be even early, so this would be the earliest one ever. But those were before satellite era, so we couldn't confirm them. So this is a pretty historic event here, and this is what's driving us to look at a very cold, extended cold, snowy period through portions of December. All right. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. All right, let me answer some more questions. Our new GFS is loading. How far are we through here? Let's take a look at this really quickly. New GFS is loading. There's that good snow from Minneapolis. Good lake effect snow again. Thanksgiving, big lake effect snow funneling in up here. Big lake effect snow there. Here's our latest expected temperatures on Thanksgiving. Let's go to surface anomalies. There's Thanksgiving evening on the GFS. Cold. East Tennessee looks cold. Could be 10 to 15 degrees below average on Thanksgiving. Denver, again, early December, sometime between the 29th and the 3rd of December, the 29th of November and the 3rd of December, we could have a big snowstorm push through Colorado that drops a decent amount of snow in the low, in the Colorado plains out east. Will Texas get snow this year? It's very likely, I think. Yes. Yeah, Lexi, it looks good. It looks good in that time frame, November 29th to December 3rd, December 4th. We've got our models pushing down a pretty nice storm through here, putting cold enough air for lowland snow there. I mean, we can take a look at what our European sees here around that time frame, getting out towards the 29th. There you go, 29th, 30th, 1st, 2nd. I mean, you could have 3 straight days of snow out here in eastern Colorado if that confirms. Take a look at what the GFS does at the same time. 29th, there you go. 30th, there you go. 1st, 2nd, again, big snow, nonstop big snow for eastern Colorado. So, again, this is 150 to 200 hours out. This isn't like La La Land by any means. This is kind of getting into forecastable range. So, very believable that we could have this set up. But we'll want to see this trend continue for at least another 3 days to really start to verify that. But it looks pretty good for Colorado, for Denver. We need snow in western Colorado. Again, this would be great for western Colorado as well. This would be great for the whole state of Colorado. This would be great for all the southern Rockies, all the ski resorts right here, late November, early December, putting a lot of snow down there. 3 straight days, that would be insane. Yeah, well, because what it looks like wants to happen, Lexi, is the trough wants to move down and then kind of stall. So you start getting a funnel of moisture, and the cold air stops. Your system stops moving, but the moisture keeps funneling in. You can see on the GFS here, it drops down, and then there's the snow. It continues, it continues, it continues. Then it moves out. You have on the European really shows the stall. Here you go on the European. Snow starts here. Really, the Saturday night, next Saturday night, it's still snowing Sunday. It's still snowing Monday. And then you get more snow funneling in on the back end of on the back end of it here. So it'd be pretty interesting. Let's see, when could that even start? Yeah, Saturday evening. And then potentially out there through Monday morning. That would be a pretty crazy scenario. We'll see. Haven't gotten snowstorm in southeastern PA in 4 years. What are you talking about? I lived in southeastern PA for the last 3 years. I mean, we got snowstorms. We haven't gotten a blizzard. We haven't got a nor'easter. Last year, we got about a foot of snow. I think it was 10 or 11 inches over the winter, which is terrible because our average down there in like Philly is 18 plus. The year before that, we got about the same thing, about just around a foot. Again, below average. But I think this year we're gonna hit above average in Philly, New York City, Baltimore. I think we're gonna have 1 or 2 really great opportunities for a nor'easter. Notice how it's all skipping Tennessee. Hey, I'm gonna tell you something real quick here. Tennessee, and I'm not talking about the mountains of Tennessee, lowland Tennessee. Look up how much snow typically falls late November, early December in Tennessee. Not much. It's very normal for a lot of this to be skipping Tennessee this early. Very normal. Let's look at Nashville. Here, let me do this. Okay. How much snow does Nashville? Well, let's see. Average. Let's first say in November. Yeah, Nashville gets on average a 1/10 of an inch of snow in November. How about December? Well, I'm going to think it's going to say like, what, 4 or 5 inches? Oh, your average snowfall in December is about a 1/2 inch. What? No, I think that's wrong. I think it's more than that. That's wrong, guys. If I know something's wrong. Yeah. Nashville averages about, wow, Nashville only averages about 5 inches of snow per season. Holy crap, that's even less than Charlotte. That's low. I thought Nashville got a little bit more snow than that. But hey, I will tell you, Nashville, by the way, NOAA is predicting above average precipitation through your region this winter and below average temperatures for at least the first half of winter. So if you want snow into Nashville, it's a good setup for you guys through early winter. But I mean, don't be upset if you don't get it the last week of November or first week of December. It's super rare to get it then anyways. I think mid-December, your chances shoot up. More tornadoes than snow? Yeah. Unfortunately. Should North Carolina get snow this winter? The mountains are going to have a good time, I think. Weak La Ninas in general, the Southeast does terrible. But early December, you're going to have a couple good chances here for Charlotte. At least through Western North Carolina, you have a couple good chances. Including Charlotte up towards Greenville. Brandon, I appreciate you. Kimberly, I appreciate you. Festpop. New Jersey ain't getting jack. No, you guys, I think we'll have a decent year. Montana specifically has been getting skipped. It's probably have a 0% snowpack, and it's kind of sad. Take a look at this here. That's snow for Montana in like a day or 2 days. Take a look at this right here. That's more snow for Montana. Take a look at this right here. That's more snow for Montana. Take a look at this right here. That's more snow for Montana. Take a look at, there's more snow for Montana. There's more snow. There's a ton of snow being projected for Montana here in the short range. Again, it's November. Ain't no need to worry right now. There's the European. There's what the European thinks about Montana over the next kind of 10 to 14 days. If you can't find Montana, it's right underneath this big pile of snow. What does the GFS think? I guarantee you the GFS sees tons of snow up in Montana as well. This is it. This is just in the next 5 days on the GFS. Montana's buried. Don't worry, Montana. You're about to get a lot of snow. You about to get a lot of snow. Our GFS continues to load. Time to move to Montana, yeah. If you love the snow. All right, GFS continues to load, getting a little bit farther out. There it is. There's your second storm. It continues to see. It continues to see the day after Thanksgiving. This would be the day after the midnight after Thanksgiving. Big snow pushing through Montana, Dakotas. Potentially, this is Omaha snow. Trying to get down into St. Louis, trying to push out towards Chicago, Minneapolis, Des Moines. This is going to want to transfer off to the east like this. So this is the day after Thanksgiving. This is continuing to look nice. This wants to duck right to the south. It looks like a Minneapolis. Now it wants to put snow into Minneapolis as well. But yeah, really good read from the GFS as well here for you guys up there. Again, guys, if you're looking for big snow chances out here, we're going to start seeing them show up probably around December 7th, December 8th. We're going to see our chances push out east. I've always liked Montana. Me too. I went skiing there once. Big Sky, Montana. It was awesome. Yeah, why do the Twin Cities see rain and major winter storms? Once we get far enough into winter, once you're halfway through December in Minnesota, you guys know you don't see much rain. Earlier on in the year, though, look, why are we getting rain before the snow here? You have a ton of warm air being shoved up to the north here and connecting and then punching in or running up against our polar jet. So all this warm air is trying to force its way into this snowstorm. That's what's causing it to be rain on the front end. But then eventually our cold air, our Minnesota cold air, as we get into late November, December, overpowers that warm air pushing up from the south, and then it turns into all snow on the back end. That stops happening as we get into mid and late December in Minnesota. It starts becoming all snow. The warm air can't force itself far enough north. How about ice on Oklahoma? How about ice at Oklahoma early December? Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's an issue. We're watching out for some potential big ice storms down there. This could be ice into Oklahoma right there. That could be more ice there. We'll have to see. Going back to our 00Z on the GFS. See a little bit of an ice storm. That's north of Oklahoma. I know you guys don't pay attention to that hurricane down there, guys. We can't confirm that that's going to be a thing yet. Ton of ice potential throughout this region over the next couple of weeks. I'm really interested to see how the latest GFS run keeps loading. Look at that, guys. Look at that big snowstorm for Chicago on the latest GFS run. Again, not in La La Land. We're only talking about 140 hours out. This is forecasting range here. Kind of far out forecasting range, but it's still, this isn't like an outlook here that we're looking at. 140, 150 hours out. We like to be under 120, preferably under 75, but under 72, but I don't know why I say 75, but you could start forecasting a snowstorm around 120. This is about 140. This is big snow. This is big snow for the Midwest. Could it drop a little bit farther south? Yeah, could drop a little bit farther south. We don't know yet. But quite an impressive signal there. Yeah, pretty impressive signal there. You can see what it's starting to push in. This is just over the next kind of 6 days. Will it go to Rhode Island? It could. It could. Our polar jet's going to be sitting like this. You're going to be cold enough in Rhode Island. So if that moisture transfers all the way out, it could. Let's look at what the last GFS run did. Did it transfer that out? It didn't. It put a little bit of snow there, and then it immediately moved it up to the north. But we could actually see that transfer out. It'll be interesting to see how this latest GFS run loads, if it actually keeps that. Because there's a possibility the model starts saying, hey, instead of this snow pushing in here and then going off into the northeast, that maybe the snow continues to follow the jet out here to the mid-Atlantic, and then boom, you have early mid-Atlantic snow. But we'll see. Let's let this load, and then we really want to see our 12Z of the Euro today and see if there's any sort of trend or if this is just a one-off from the GFS. Will North Alabama be getting any snow? It's possible. It's possible in December, just because, again, we have the earliest sudden stratospheric warming event, polar vortex breakdown, on record. It's going to put some cold air into the south, but it's tough to get snow down there in December. And typically, if you're going to get snow in Alabama, it's going to be in January, February. The green is rain. Yeah, you see what this is doing as it pushes it off to the east? It's trying to have this ridge punch up, which would prevent the snow from falling in Philly and Baltimore and New York City. But the latest run of the GFS is still throwing some snow out here into the mid-Atlantic. So that's pretty interesting, right? That would give you a shot of snow like November 30th, December 1st in the Mid-Atlantic. We'll see. We'll see, guys. Need to get a little bit closer for that one. One second. Got stuff popping up on my computer. There we go. Yeah, I want to continue to see this 12Z load. There, yeah, you can see right here. It's trying to put a mixture of rain and snow through this area here. Very interesting. What's the overall predictions for December climate in the East North Texas? Here you go. I'll just pull it back up. There you go. I'll tell you this. I would pull the average. Where it says equal chances, average temperatures, I would pull that down here. I don't think, I think Texas is, I think this cold air is going to get a little bit farther south than they're kind of saying here. That's the only change I'd make. I agree with this. I agree with Noah. And that's just my opinion. So. Again, if you're in the light blue, it only thinks, this is December 6th to December 19th. It thinks a little bit below average. Even the light red, this is just slightly above average. So it's pretty average for a lot of the country. Definitely colder up in this region. Definitely warmer out in this region. And again, if you look at our precipitation anomalies here, I'm not fully buying this. We're seeing our jet set up like this through early, although I guess because maybe we're seeing our jet set up like this through early December. We could have it end up shifting out. And this is looking through December 19th, so maybe you do get a pocket of dry here. But the beginning of December is not going to, I don't think is going to be dry here. This is, I think it's only saying this because it's accounting for mid to late, or like accounting for that December 7th to December 19th range. I think December 1st through the first week of December is not going to be too dry there. GFS is continuing to load. Let's take a look here. The latest run. Ooh. Look at this. Again, continuing on the GFS. Here's your third snowstorm. I mean, this is what we're talking about, guys. As soon as we get late November, early December, an active pattern, there's a snowstorm through the Midwest, upper Midwest. There's a snowstorm through the Northern Rockies, upper Midwest, Midwest, New England. There's a snowstorm out in the Rockies, punching through the Central Plains. We're talking about storm after storm after storm, and we're going to see some pretty warm temperatures and some severe weather down here too, pooling out ahead of the out ahead of the cold. Again, we expect as we get into mid-December, this very active pattern is going to shift out east for the cold and snow. I'm a pilot. This is awesome. Thanks. No problem. That's pretty cool. I wanted to be a pilot when I was younger. Well, I actually wanted to be a hurricane hunter, do the hurricane reconnaissance flights. Kimberly, Ethan, Two Jerks, 5-5. I appreciate you guys. Do you think that the European model is always the model to look towards in tracking weather? Absolutely not. I think it has a better track record, but the GFS, again, example, the GFS saw this snow getting down into North Dakota and Minnesota 10 days ago. The European, until about 3 days ago, said, nah, this snow's all going to stay up in Canada. Guess what? The European corrected itself. The GFS is likely to end up winning this scenario. I'd say the European's right 70% of the time. 30% of the time, the GFS is correct. If the European was always right, or was just always better, we wouldn't even look at the GFS. But we have to, because sometimes the GFS is on to something that the European doesn't catch on. Even though it's less of a chance, it still wins sometimes. So, this could be an ice storm for St. Louis. Snow, ice, rain, all in the same day. We'll see. Guys, I got to hop off here. I think I'm going to do another evening stream here today, a little bit later on. But I'm trying to get to the gym. I never have time to work out anymore, so maybe I should work out. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate the follows. Appreciate any of the new members. Anyone who gifted. anyone in the stream, just hanging out, helping the algorithm. You guys are awesome. Seriously, I really appreciate all the support. I'm trying to get to do this full time. The support is amazing. If you want to become a member of the Climb Crew, link to the Discord is right down in every single one of my YouTube videos and one of my live streams. Every single one of them. Mods, you're awesome. I appreciate you guys. We're going to have some fun stuff, I think, with this 12Z that pops in today, because if it sees this big snowstorm as well, the second one right behind this upper Midwest storm, this is going to be talk of the town for Des Moines, Chicago, Detroit, Minneapolis, Omaha, maybe St. Louis. There's going to be a big opportunity there for a lot of snow. And then we'll have to see if it confirms this as well, too, because this would be big snow, big severe weather as well, and that's not too far out. We're only talking about 7 days, getting really close to forecasting range there. So we'll see what happens with the 12Z Euro. I really appreciate all of you. I'm going to try to get back on later to continue answering questions. I have a video I released today. My video might answer some of your questions there, by the way, guys. That's posted. The full one on my YouTube. I appreciate you guys. Everyone have a fantastic Sunday. Go Giants. Go Vikings. See you guys.